newsroom for Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. We're broadcasting to you live on E1, Skar TV, NTN, and Tarzee TV in Bartica. We continue our elections coverage, and now we bring you the details from the declarations. Guyana's governing People's Progressive Party Civic, or the PPPC for short, is poised to remain in office based on the declarations from returning officers across the country today. That also means that President Dr. Finale will serve his second president as President of Guyana. That should be his second term as President of Guyana. The PPPC secured the most votes in 8 of the 10 districts, regions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. The newly formed Reinvest in Nationhood Party got the most votes in regions 7 and 10. So what do these declarations look like? Let's take you through what we have as the preliminary figures while we await an official declaration from the Ghana Elections Commission. So to start us off, in Region 1, the People's Progressive Party Civic got the most votes, with Win following behind. In Region 2, the PPPC again got the most votes, with Win coming behind with 27.5% of the votes. We'll take you now to Region 3, where the PPP got a majority in that region, with Win and APNU trailing behind, as you can see in this pie chart in front of you. Now for Region 4. In Region 4, a surprising result. The PPP got the most votes in the region, clinching it from the PNC-led APNU, which got major support here in every post-independence elections. However, just a few moments ago, GCOM said it approved a recount in a sub-district of Region 4. In Region 5, the PPP got the majority share of the votes, with APNU behind with about 20% of the votes, and then Win. In Region 6 now, the PPP got about 68% of the votes, a majority, with Win and APNU behind. Now in Region 7, Win secured about half of the votes, and that's the majority of the region, while the PPP trailed behind with 35% of the votes, and you can see the distribution for the other parties there. In Region 8, the PPP got nearly half of the votes, while Win got 44.4% of the votes. In Region 9, the PPP scored big in the region, with Win behind with just about 31% of the votes. And finally, we take you to Region 10, where Win got just less than half of the votes, while APNU got about 25% of the votes, and the PPP about 20% of the votes. Now, I'd like to remind you all that these are what we've put together based on the declarations from the returning officers in the electoral districts. GCOM says there will be a recount in a sub-district of Region 4. The recount should commence at about 8 hours Thursday and will continue uninterrupted until completion. The newsroom was reliably informed that the recount includes just about 50 ballot boxes and should be completed by Thursday afternoon. Following that recount, GCOM should make an official declaration of the overall results. Now, when the newsroom returns, the Commonwealth, Carter Center, and EU observer missions hail Guyana's electoral process. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching the newsroom. The Commonwealth Observer Group has commended the people of Ghana for the peaceful conduct of the polls and has also made recommendations for key reforms to further strengthen transparency, inclusion, and public confidence in the electoral process. Presenting the group's preliminary findings on Wednesday at a press briefing, the chairperson of the group, who is the former minister of Tonga, said the elections were largely orderly and peaceful.
The general environment of the election day was peaceful, with polling generally opening on time. Though polling procedures were largely respected, in some cases there were minor inconsistencies in their application by polling staff. The group commends GCOM for providing an information desk, materials, and signage in and around polling stations that generally were very effective in guiding voters. We recommend a greater consistency in the application of signage across all polling stations, including, for example, signage related to the identification of polling staff. We found that in general, the public displayed a good understanding of the electoral process and that the presiding officers clearly explained procedures as required. GCOM staff and polling staff were courteous and hospitable. They worked with professionalism, diligence, and collegiality. Also in managing cases of challenges with ballot reconciliation. The procedures for conducting the count ensured trust in the process. We observed that polling staff were also afforded an opportunity to vote. Party agents were present at polling stations to count and undersign the statements of poll with polling agents and counting agents. This practice is commended. The group encouraged all political stakeholders to give priority to the establishment of a robust post-electoral domestic mechanism that may, in short order, produce the legislative and constitutional reform needed for the conduct of credible, transparent, and inclusive elections.
We tell you now that the chief observer of the European Union Election Observation Mission says the Ghana Elections Commission managed the September 1 polls efficiently, with polling staff performing their duties professionally and voters turning out passionately. At a press conference held on Wednesday at the Pegasus Corporate Suites, he presented the mission's preliminary findings following the September 1 general and regional elections. The EU team, which has been present in Ghana since July 23rd, deployed 50 observers to 253 polling stations across the country. The mission noted that the elections were conducted in a peaceful and orderly manner.
The EU member states and from Norway, demonstrating a broad international commitment to supporting democracy in Guyana. On election day, our observers witnessed a calm and orderly process. Polling staff were professional and dedicated. Polling stations opened on time and the polls were efficiently managed. Measures such as restricting mobile phones inside polling stations were implemented to enhance integrity. Citizens participated with passion and determination, demonstrating that democracy is not just about the law, but a shared responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, during those elections, the voters showed dedication and made their electoral choices in a calm and peaceful manner. Our observers saw professional polling staff, mostly women, facilitating the process efficiently across towns and villages of Guyana. The Guyana Elections Commission, GCOM, managed the elections efficiently. Overall, the 2025 general and regional elections in Guyana were peaceful, inclusive, and efficiently organized, offering citizens meaningful choices. The European Union Election Observation Mission We remain in Guyana to observe the remaining stages of the electoral process. With the tabulation still ongoing, we hope that standards of transparency will persist. Our final report, including recommendations for strengthening electoral integrity, will be issued in the coming weeks. We hope it will contribute constructively to Guyana's democratic reform process. To sum up, we have observed competitive elections and peaceful voting.
Now, the Carter Center, an accredited body to observe the country's 2025 general and regional elections on Wednesday, said there is no evidence of the official list of electors being manipulated. This was disclosed by Jason Carter, the mission's leader, during a press conference at the Pexas Corporate Suites, Georgetown, as he revealed the mission's preliminary statement. The Ghana Elections Commission has faced criticism over this official list of electors, as it does not have the power to remove a person's name. The Carter Center has also noted that 97% of the reports received regarding the tabulation affirmed that it was being conducted in accordance with the law. We tell you now that
we did not find any evidence that the list was manipulated. The answer to that question is no. We did not find any evidence that the list was manipulated. There is, of course, just looking at the numbers, you know that there are people who could come off of that list because they don't exist, probably, because they've passed away. And so that is an issue that we think you should start there. That'll go a long way towards addressing some of the persistent concerns with the list. Our observers on Election Day found that polling staff, party agents, GCOM conducted themselves well and with professionalism. We did not see any significant irregularities of any kind. And we also monitor with a sophisticated way social media. And the social media reports also indicated that from a procedural standpoint, the process of this election was well conducted. So we've been observing the tabulation process. It is a cumbersome process that takes time. It is also one, again, we've been in every single tabulation center. 97% of the reports that we've received regarding tabulation recorded that tabulation was being conducted in accordance with was good, and all of them said that they were doing it in accordance with the law. So that process is cumbersome, but it is ongoing, it is transparent, and when it's complete, I think people will have trust in the results. We did not find any evidence that the list was manipulated.
Now for some horrific news. Police are investigating the murder of 50-year-old Paula Abraham, who was stabbed to death by her husband Ishwar 646 in the wee hours of Wednesday at their 2nd Street Cummins Lodge East Coast Demerara house. Police headquarters reported that Singh reportedly set fire to the house after committing the gruesome act and escaped with burns on his body. He sought medical attention at the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he eventually died at around 10 hours. According to the police report, the couple's 24-year-old daughter, who works as a security guard, was present in the house at the time of the incident. She reported that her father was an alcoholic who usually beat her mother and had threatened to kill her in the past. The young woman said that her mother's screams woke her up. She then felt heat in the house. She immediately got up, opened the southern door of the house, and escaped. She claimed that the fire started on a sofa chair and spread to the rest of the house. She also saw when her father exited the house through the northern door of the lower flat. The fire service was immediately informed and they responded and extinguished the fire. The upper flat of the house was damaged while the lower flat was partially burned. The dead woman was found lying on a sponge mattress in her bedroom with a stab wound to the left side of her neck with what appeared to be bloodstains on her clothing and on the bed. The investigation is ongoing. And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. I'm Vishani Raghavan, encouraging you to stay connected to the newsroom via our various platforms for continuous coverage of elections 2025. Thank you for joining.